Small group of migrants have started breaking the security barrier of the shelter where they've been living. 1,800 migrants have been there since February 4th. They've been waiting to leave so they can be processed in the United States. Mariana Atencio is there in Piedras Negras, Mexico. Mariana, what's the situation?
Ali, it's a very active scene here. This is the other side of Eagle Pass, Texas. And things have calmed down a bit, but you can see that I am surrounded by hundreds of Mexican federales in full riot gear. Why? Because on the other side of this fence behind me is a factory-turned shelter where they're housing 1,800 members of the last migrant caravan. And moments ago, a small riot broke out inside. They started throwing tables, chairs, pipes to the federales inside. They broke the small security perimeter that is in there. We're talking about a place that is housing men, women, children. But after a week of these folks, mostly from Honduras, being housed in there, you can imagine that patience is running thin. And many of them were waving these white cards, Ali, the humanitarian visas that supposedly would allow them to roam through Mexico until they could go to that international bridge on the other side and process their asylum in the United States. Ali?
Mariana, there was some activity last night. There's now more. What is it that the Mexican federales behind you are aiming to do? Are they trying to get these people not to rush the border crossing? The border crossing is to your left somewhere?
Yes, the border crossing is behind me. It is an international bridge that is controlled by Mexico on the one side and the U.S. on the other. CBP has heightened the security presence on the other side. As we crossed into Mexico today, they were even moving about containers, somehow, trying to fend off these people from the migrant caravan from just mustering the courage to show up to the bridge and to try to go to the United States. Here on the Mexican side of the border is something I had never seen before, which is the state of Coahuila, where we are now mobilizing their local security, as you see, and the Mexican federales to try to keep these people fenced in. So I had never seen people, fenced in a shelter like this, not be allowed to even leave to buy groceries or basic needs. And after a week, as I mentioned, it really remains to be seen whether this situation is sustainable from both sides. But as you can imagine, on the U.S. side of the border, some residents are also weary and tense about this situation that is happening just on the other side of what is a very fluid bridge. As you can see, we have some choppers flying overhead, and tensions have wind down a little bit, Ali, but it's still very active.
All right, we'll stay close to you on this, Mariana. Thanks very much. Mariana Atencio on the Mexican side of a border crossing with Texas.